All right, let's go coast to coast with last night's action, starting with the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards, who became the youngest player in NBA history with 10 three-pointers in a game, Chiney.
I mean, this is wild because we talked about it with Steph making history, but he's doing exactly what you need to do for growth. 22 points, 6 rebounds a game this season. They're at the 9th spot in the standings. I see the Timberwolves as a team that could potentially, in the second half of the season, trend upward, keep moving upward.
Perk called him a generational player, and we know that Perk
nice graphic
sometimes tends to be right. The Bucks, they beat the Pacers. That was despite missing 7 players, including Giannis and Chris Middleton. Milwaukee went on a 21-0 run in the fourth and have now won 13 of 16. So, Zach, the most impressive part of their stretch is?
People sleeping on the Bucks. They're plus 13 when their 3 guys are on the floor. But let's give a shout out to Pat Connaughton, 43% on threes, and Bobby Portis, 15 and 9, shooting the heck out of it. The Bucks have some depth.
Bobby. Isaiah Thomas, he made his G League debut and showed out. He scored 42 points to go along with 8 assists for the Grand Rapids Gold. So, Perk, do you see an NBA comeback in his future?
Absolutely, especially if GMs put their pride aside and put their advanced stats and analytics aside and focus on the eye test. This man is a walking bucket. He can help anybody bench right now. This is what IT does. Sign this man up, a 42-piece wing dinner.
Well, Zach Lowe, his tweet up there clearly agrees with you. He says, get him back in the league already.
That was Buffalo, not lemon pepper.
And the Jazz, they were on their lemon pepper. They won their 8th straight after beating the Clippers by 21. So they now have won 4 straight games by at least 20 points for the first time in franchise history. So how exactly are they doing it? Well, they're putting up some ridiculous offensive numbers. They lead the NBA in offensive efficiency, field goal percentage, and three-point percentage, all while averaging over 125 points per game. See, I got numbers too, Chiney and Zach. I got numbers too.
That's a lot of firsts.
Right? That's a lot of number one.
Firsts.
I do the people that are number one, right? So back at the desk with all of my friends. So we just saw the stats over the course of the last 8 games. And Chiney, I want to start with you.
Yes.
The significance of this 8-game win streak is?
It is growth. It really is growth. There were high expectations for this Jazz team based on how they're constructed, and so far they're consistently proving that they are taking the right necessary steps for growth. And, you know, yesterday on our show, during my cheat sheet, I love to break down these numbers, and I'm glad we bring them up again. But the reality is these numbers mean nothing if you don't have the right chemistry on the floor. And what I do love is a couple years ago, a lot of people questioned the chemistry of Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. Well, guess what? These guys have been professionals, and not only professionals, they've showed up and showed out each and every night. Donovan offensively just making the necessary reads as a next level scorer and facilitator. And then Rudy, my goodness, he could finish his career as the best defensive player ever. You know, if he gets another 2 defensive players of the year just by that standing. And so the growth has been there for the Utah Jazz, and I think they're going to give any contender a run come later in the season.
Jack?
To me, the significance of the streak is, guess who snuck up and tied the Warriors for the best net rating in the entire NBA? The Utah Jazz. When everyone wasn't watching, the Jazz are killing people. #1 offense, and Chiney, you nailed it. Donovan Mitchell, this is the best regular season stretch of Donovan Mitchell's career. The scoring at the rim, the passing, he's finding Gobert on lobs even. That was kind of a weak spot for them. He is playing fantastic apex predator, superstar basketball. They're integrating Rudy Gay on the second unit, a little Rudy Gay at center too, which is something that they talked about doing. So they're only just sort of getting it full throttle in terms of their rotation. This team, look, they've announced themselves Suns, Warriors, you got all the attention. We're still here.
Well, and they were there last year, and that's kind of the thing with the Jazz, right? I think there are some folks who were sitting around saying, they're great in the regular season. They were great last year in the regular season. And can we see it translate to the playoffs? But that does not mean that this stretch shouldn't be taken as, all right, especially because they're a team that, like the Milwaukee Bucks, they tend to thrive when everyone else is kind of looking over here and looking over there at those coastal teams that have, you know, the big names that go with it. But one thing I'd like to add is that yesterday, right, the Jazz, they hired Danny Ainge to oversee basketball operations, naming him alternate governor and CEO. Perk, you won a title with him.
Yep.
He also traded you.
He was honest about the trade, though.
So what do you think this move does for the Jazz moving forward?
Well, Chiney hit a good point. She brought up a word that said chemistry. And chemistry is just not on the court. It's in the front office as well, especially when you're trying to win a championship. And when you think about Danny Ainge, he brings aggressiveness, right? And when you have people in front office, you need somebody that's going to be aggressive because, again, We have seen this same story from the Utah Jazz last year, the year before last, where they have dominated the regular season but got to the postseason and not lived up to expectations. Danny Ainge is going to be the one in that meeting that goes, take that phone call. What they're offering, they want this person for this person. Hold on, let's have a meeting. Let's all come together. And Danny Ainge is also the person that says, push the button, make the move, because he's trying to win a championship, and he don't care about the future. He care about the now.
Well, and as Adrian Wojnarowski reported, Justin Zanuck, Ryan Smith, Quinn Snyder, sort of all in lockstep around Danny Ainge here. So this is going to get fun.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.